Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you called What Advanced Warfare Did Right, because there are some things that this game actually did right. This is more of a thought experiment in positivity. This is more of kind of a for fun video, definitely not a serious criticism or praise thing, because if I want to talk about the things that Advanced Warfare did wrong, we could stay here all day. I could talk about skill-based matchmaking, the connection problems, the launch bugs, the terrible free-for-all spawns, advanced supply drops, the fact that a lot of the kill streaks are useless. Again, we could do this all day. It's very easy to Google, very easy to find. I mean, there's even entire channels dedicated to this sort of stuff. But being positive is harder, especially in the Call of Duty community. It's not popular or easy to be positive, or even practical for that matter. So we're kind of doing a thought exercise. I'm going to try to step back and look at Advanced Warfare analytically and focus just on the positive and see what's good about it. I might actually do that What Advanced Warfare Did Wrong video later on, but today we're going to do the positive. First thing I do like about this game is that the graphics and aesthetics look fantastic. I think this is one of the best looking Call of Duty games I have ever played. Probably, actually no, I'm going to go say this is the best looking Call of Duty game I've ever played. I do like Black Ops 2, their colors are a little bit punchier, but the futuristic kind of grayscale theme works really well. There's still enough colors for me to distinguish people. The resolution is high. It doesn't even look that bad on old gen. I know I'm playing next gen here on Xbox One. PlayStation 4 is true 1080p, which is nice. But even the last gen really didn't look that bad. It was by no means an ugly game, and I really do enjoy the look. I enjoy the HUD, the fact that it's glasses, that it shakes and wobbles when you boost around and stuff. It feels really immersive and everything fits and makes sense, and I think that's a good thing. One of the other things I like about this game, and this is we're going to do controversial right off the bat here, is Exo Movement. I think Exo Movement was a good thing. For Aiden, I've said this in many videos before, the Call of Duty community demands something new every year. They want radical change. They want innovation. They get tired. They are just kind of wizened up that Call of Duty had been the same couple of games a few times over, reskinned with new maps and new weapons, but not a whole ton of like really radical new stuff, at least especially if you get into it casually. Now if you're competitive, a little different. Advanced Warfare says, okay, you want something new? Let's give you something new. Here's exosuits you can boost around the map. Obviously not everybody wanted it, but the community was very adamant about newness, and we got tons and tons of newness with Advanced Warfare. Good, bad, or ugly, again, we're doing good today. Personally, I like the new movements. I think this is one of the best 3D moving games that I've ever played, right up there with Titanfall, which also plays very, very well. But I'm kind of a fan of jumpy, boosty gameplay. That's just my personal take on it. I liked Titanfall, I like Tribes, I like Quake, I like that kind of thing. Not all of you do, just me. Two things that tie into this that I think are also good is that Exo abilities were a good decision. It's kind of like having a third perk or a third ability kind of replaces some equipment. It's cool to have something extra to choose from that's not just perks that affects you in a different way. I thought that was a very good gameplay decision, and I also think that it's a good thing. This is very small. It's cool that we have the rabbit punch, the Exo like robot assisted punch. Call of Duty's had one-hit kill melee for a long time, and it never really made sense. The speed at which you drop your gun, pull out a knife, and stab somebody in the chest and instantly kill them. Not even that wouldn't even instantly kill them. They still keep shooting at you. But in Advanced Warfare, since I'm punching you with a super strong robot arm that can tear through steel girders and hatches and stuff like that, it makes sense if you get punched in the chest with this, you're going to stop shooting and die because your heart turned into a pile of mush. It's a small thing. Maybe it's just something that irked me overall, but it's kind of... I'm not saying one-hit kill melee is nice, I really don't like it that much, but at least it makes sense in this context. I feel that we got good game modes in this game. Hardpoint's a game mode that was invented by Treyarch, but it was a fan favorite. Everybody liked it. It played really well, and the people at Sledgehammer decided to bring it back and put it in Advanced Warfare, and it's one of the best playing modes in this game. People wanted Hardpoint back. We got it back. We also got Momentum back, which is kind of like War from World at War, another Treyarch-based thing, but it plays really well. I like Momentum. The spawns are a little wonky in Momentum. People play it weird, but Momentum is casual gaming to the max. You cannot get any more casual than Momentum, and that's what I like about it. We have Uplink, which there's some mixed feelings about, but it's innovation. It's truly new, Quidditch, whatever. It's fun, it's goofy, it's really fun to watch, even if the pros don't like playing it. I overall do think it was a good thing, and we got most of our classic modes back. No complaints about the game modes whatsoever in this game. Other things we can talk about as far as, let's talk about gun balance. I think it's a good thing that we don't have truly OP guns. Now, the game is definitely BAL and ASM1 dominated, and now the M1 Irons is also quite good, but in perspective, in Call of Duty terms, they're not nearly as OP as the guns have been in previous Call of Duty games. Yeah, they're strong, yeah, they're definitely the best gun, but it's not nukey or melty or impossible to counter or deal with. And maybe that's more of like a lesser of two evils kind of thing. Maybe the balance isn't perfect, but it was pretty good out of the box, even though the BAL was really strong, and then we nerfed the ASM-1 and that became the thing. But all of the guns are usable, none of them make you insta-death, and I know you do get melty kills, yeah, you get 2 shots, yeah, it lags, but there were guns in other Call of Duty games that would literally delete you in milliseconds, even on LAN. We don't have this in Advanced Warfare. We don't have to worry about that. They also added in some guns that were just plain fun. They were by no means practical or competitive or anything, but they were really fun to use. Something like the NA-45, a grenade sniper rifle, I have a lot of fun with that gun. I thought it was innovative and cool. The RW1 is one of my favorite secondary weapons from Call of Duty games, period, and I'm a big secondary weapon guy. I thought that was really fun. The Riot Shield, while not super practical, is fun to shock plant on people. I kind of like doing that. SAC-3 akimbo guns are back, and not only are they back, but they're practical, good, and balanced. I thought that was a good thing. M1 irons is very strong. It borderlines on OP a lot of times, but you don't have a lot of ammo, and it's 100% skill-based. I have never seen a gun in a Call of Duty game nearly as skill-based as the M1 irons. If you're good, you can be a god. If you're terrible, the thing is useless, and I thought it was very fun and satisfying to use. It kind of fulfills those cowboy fantasies. Even though we have 3D movements and exos and boosting all over the place, it's still a Call of Duty game in that the core of the game is still gunfights. The whole game is centered around gunfights, and they more or less feel right. I don't feel like I'm getting what we'll say Call of Duty bullshitted too often. Now, with the Exo Movements, things do get complicated. People jump up in a way, and it gets a little bit busier, and I do feel frustrated sometimes. But overall, not so bad. If for a game with all this kind of crazy stuff, I feel like the gunfights are more or less on point. Other item issues that I think were good with the game. Danger Close is still in the game, didn't like that much, but it's very weak. I don't see very many people running Danger Close. It's not very practical. I almost never see noob tubes. I saw them a little bit in the beginning of the game, but I almost never see them near the end of the game. And the tracking drone things, which were kind of like the IEDs from Ghost, but they follow you around, I've been killed by one of those since the game came out. Literally one. Not the millions of IEDs we had in Ghost, or the Claymores, or Bettys, or C4s, any of that kind of stuff. I don't have to deal with that too much. When I turn a corner, I don't have to be sitting there in complete paranoid fear, wondering if I'm going to get blown up by whatever toss and forget explosive device was left there. I really don't have to deal with those, which is a very good thing. There's also no stupid tac insertions or C4 that you can insta-burst in the air. Tac insertions really break down older Call of Duty games. Even games that play really well like Black Ops 2, when people start tac inserting everywhere, it really messes up the flow of the gameplay and becomes very, very frustrating. There's also no air bursting C4, you just chunk and blow up and nuke people and shred through flak jacket. That's not a thing, so I think it's a good thing that both of those are gone. They're both gone in Black Ops 3 too, so thank goodness. Spike drones were a fun addition. The Infinity Ward series does throwing knives, Treyarch does tomahawks. We have spike drones. Spike drones look cool, they're satisfying when they hit, and you can pull them back and hit people on the way back. Small thing, I thought it was really fun. Talking about map balance, I think most of the maps in this game are good too. They're more or less 3-lane maps, they flow pretty well, they work with the Exo Movements. Now the Exo Movements I know not a lot of people like, and it definitely does make things more chaotic, and people can transverse the maps a lot faster than they used to. And that does mess a few things up on occasion, but overall the maps are pretty good. They're not broken, they're not boring, they're not unfair in most scenarios. Like some other maps would have power positions you just get into and hold, and then that's just game over once you've got the power position. These aren't really like that. These actually play pretty well. The idea to be able to customize Scorestreaks was a good one. Now the Scorestreaks themselves I'm not such a big fan of. I keep putting a lot of negatives in this video. I don't think the Scorestreaks were super useful, but the idea to be able to customize them, to add modules to them to make them different or stronger or better or support or whatever for different point values was actually a very good idea, and that's one of the things I feel is missing from Black Ops 3. Like, I feel like Black Ops 3 could actually benefit from something like that because it doesn't have it right now. Even though I initially did not like the variant system, I think it turned out to be fun in the long run. It did kind of throw a monkey wrench into balance in a few cases, but none of the guns were really that broken or overpowered. Like I said before, we didn't have any like really crazy OP guns. Some were inherently better than others, but it did keep me playing the game longer, working to get variants, trying to get them, and enjoying the guns more. I was initially very opposed to this idea. I didn't like it at all, but at the end of the day, I think it turned out all right. I do think it's a good thing that the game got frequent patches, playlist updates, and bug fixes faster than any previous Call of Duty game. It's probably critical to say that it needed those things. It's definitely not good to need patches, it's not good to need playlist updates or bug fixes, but that's going to happen with any AAA title these days, so it's good that we got our patches fast. Like, none of the game-breaking ones stayed. Most of the really bad ones got swept up pretty quickly. I do admit that the camos and stuff at launch was a little bit frustrating, and I think so far the DLC has been on point. All of the DLC guns have been fun, they've been usable. We got a free one too. The M1 Irons was completely free to everybody, so that's a good thing to give to the community. Lots of new content. All of the DLC maps have been pretty fun. I can't remember, well, there was one that I didn't like. I didn't really like Chop Shop. That really wasn't a good map. That one didn't float my boat. But the Exo Grapple, the map Sideshow was really fun, especially for sniping. That's probably the map for sniping, so that's been really fun. The character customization you get in supply drops is good, so that's a lot of content. That kind of goes into advanced supply drops, which I don't really support or do, but there's been a whole boatload of content for this game. Like, every month there's something new. Every 2 or 3 weeks even there's something new. They're about to add in a whole new series of variant weapons for us to collect, and that keeps people playing, keeps people engaged, and keeps it fun. There has been competitive support. I am not a competitive or pro gamer. That's not my area. I don't want to go spouting off expertise I don't have. But the people at Sledgehammer, they care. They try to do competitive support. It might not be at the same speed as the pro players want, because pro players can get together and make rules way more quickly than like a company or an organization, especially a corporate one can. But it's there, and they do care, and it's not been broken or buggy or weird during competitive play, so that's good. And I'll give Sledgehammer one tip of the hat to truly being involved in the Call of Duty community from get-go. From day one, Michael Condrey, Glenn Schofield, and some other people that I know behind the scenes that run like the official Twitter account and stuff, they're there. They read everything. They reply to as much as possible. They take suggestions seriously. They take feedback and criticism seriously. They're on Reddit. They are paying attention, and that's a good thing. They're really there and really working on it. It's a good thing to see that from a developer. And that's my list of things that Advanced Warfare did right. Again, it's not a comprehensive list. Yours might differ. You might actually think that some of the things that I said are right about this game are completely ass backwards and wrong, and if that's the case, you can go ahead and tell me down there in the comments. I'll be reading through it, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do the what they did wrong video or not. That one, as J-Hub said, I kind of collaborated him with on this one, especially on the negatives, because he's more of a negative person. He thinks very critically, which is not a bad thing. You need people like that to keep you in check. And I asked him, what are the bad things about Advanced Warfare? And he says, oh man, do you want me to stay writing all day? And I laughed and I was like, well, you know, there's actually just about as many things that went wrong with this game that went right, and that's how it is for most games these days. Tell me if you want what the Advanced Warfare did wrong, and I'll make that video. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.